atmosphere, and now there's a study to leverage their expertise. The study, published by Environmental Research Letters, found that the two groups of experts surveyed, atmospheric chemists who specialize in condensation trails and geochemists working on atmospheric deposition of dust and pollution, overwhelmingly rejected the notion that such a program exists. Out of 77 participating scientists, 76 said they found zero evidence of a secret spraying program, adding that any evidence supposedly cited by those who subscribe to the chemtrail theory could be explained away by poor data sampling and/or normal contrails. There was one guy who said that he found too much barium in one area at one point, and so he couldn't totally rule it out. The other 76 were fairly sure about this. And here is all too often what we find, that you have a group of people who have studied for years or decades in an area, understand how information is gathered, they understand the field, and then there are other people looking in from the inside and suspecting that things are there which actually are not.
The greatest lie ever perpetrated on populations all over the world is the condensation trail lie. What we're seeing in our skies is not condensation. It's sprayed particulate dispersions with very few exceptions.
They shouldn't be there. Jet engines burn clean. So if there's anything coming out of them, it's an additive.
They're absolutely not contrails. Contrails do not linger, dissipate, and go into cloud coverage, period, in the report.
Before you watch this video, the 30 seconds you just saw was a snippet from a 12-minute video called The Dimming that Dane Wigington is producing and creating. It will be very detailed, best documentary possible on geoengineering. Before you get into this video, in the description section, watch that video. Come back here, and we're going to get into exactly what solar radiation management and all these other programs are. Whenever you're ready, let's begin. We constantly hear we must go green. We must clean our earth. We must get off of fossil fuels. Then the narrative switches to electric cars, solar panels, and wind turbines as the solutions for our climate problem. The problem with climate change conversation is the avoidance of discussing climate engineering, otherwise known as geoengineering. Geoengineering is the greatest causal factor in our climate destruction today. The ability for man to play God with the weather has done nothing more than destroy our life support systems. What is geoengineering? Climate engineering, or climate intervention, commonly referred to as geoengineering, is the deliberate and large-scale intervention in Earth's climate system, usually with the aim of mitigating the adverse effects of global warming. The following are some of the programs used in these covert operations. Solar radiation management is a type of climate engineering in which sunlight, or solar radiation management, is reflected to limit or reverse global warming. Proposed methods include increasing the planetary albedo, for example with stratospheric sulfate aerosol injection. Restorative methods have also been proposed regarding the protection of natural heat reflectors, including sea ice, snow, and glaciers. The principal advantages as an approach to climate engineering is the speed in which they can be deployed and become fully active, their low financial costs, and reversibility of their direct climate effects. Some of the side effects of solar radiation management are the heavy metals in our air column. Sulfuric acid is not the only thing that's being used. The main ingredient in solar radiation management is aluminum. This can cause long-term health damage, dementia, heart disease, autism, neurological disorders. These heavy metals are desiccants, meaning moisture absorbing. It dries up the atmosphere, plant life, and soil. Solar radiation management causes long-term warming for short-term cooling. Air is trapped under the canopy of the particulates, causing heating. Solar radiation management destroys the ozone layer. It prevents O2 molecules from becoming O3. How can you tell if you're experiencing solar radiation management programs in your everyday life? If you look up in the sky and you see the jet trails above you, that mainstream media, mainstream academia call condensation trails, and you see them going crisscross, tic-tac-toe patterns throughout the sky, that is your solar radiation management program. The dispersion of heavy metals such as aluminum, barium, strontium, mercury are used to create an artificial cloud to reflect incoming sunlight back to the earth, or incoming sunlight that comes to the earth back to space. This creates short-term cooling, but at the cost of long-term heating. Because the gases get trapped under the canopy of the aerosols, we experience long-term heating and the humidity rates on the bottom that escalate. Other geoengineering programs are ocean fertilization, a geoengineering technique designed to increase the uptake of carbon dioxide from the air by phytoplankton microscopic plants to reside at or near the surface of the ocean. The premise is that phytoplankton, after blooming, would die and sink to the ocean floor, taking with them the CO2 that they had photosynthesized into new tissues. This causes oceans to store more heat and become extremely acidic. Additional side effects of mass algae bloom, blue ocean event, hypoxic and anoxic zones, no or low oxygen. Another one is chemical ice nucleation for weather modification, an endothermic reaction that captures heat and creates moisture, ice, or snow. Pay attention the next time it snows in your area. Does the snow start to fall after 34 degrees? When the snow is grounded, is it extremely cold to the touch? Is it extremely slick? And does it dissipate like dry ice, meaning no runoff? Chemical ice nucleation also causes flash freezing. All of these systems disrupt the Earth's natural response system. This is a dangerous pharmaceutical solution for a man-made problem of climate change. This has accelerated the demise of the planet. This has caused climate refugees. The projected climate refugees are 2 billion, and it will continue to go up. If climate engineering is not stopped, it will be the end of all of us. Here are the current statistics that mainstream media and mainstream academia do not cover. By 2025, the ozone layer will destroy, causing X-rays to hit the surface of the Earth, which in itself is an extinction level event. By 2026, all wildlife will be extinct. Currently, the insect populations are collapsed at 90%. Ocean life and fisheries are collapsing at 70 and 80%. Bird populations are collapsing at 80%. We are headed for what's called Venus syndrome, where methane is thawing and headed to the surface of the atmosphere. This traps heat and causes us to become a sister planet to Venus over time, boiling away the oceans and creating extreme temperatures on the surface of the Earth. And finally, Canfield Ocean, a euxinic ocean condition, a term described restricting hydrological circulation that leads to stagnant or anaerobic conditions that are the leading causing factor of sulfuric oceans. The world's greatest threat is climate engineering. The fact that environmental organizations overlook this is a clear sign that they are paid to look the other way. We are facing a collective crisis soon, and if we do not act on it, the consequences will be severe. I believe humanity's potential for good has to be unearthed under dire stress and trauma. Sooner or later, hopefully this issue will be resolved.